Hey guys, welcome back to AFK Journey. In today's video, I wanted to have a bit of a general discussion, and the key part about this video is getting your guys' thoughts in the comments. So we're going to have a bit of a rambling session talking about multiple things. I want to talk about the general concept of A-level rate-up banners and my thoughts around that. I also want to talk about the general banner roster that we've had since the launch of the game and my feelings around the necessity of a hype character to launch into the game. I then also want to talk about my thoughts around communication and the fact that I feel like we need a roadmap, and I want to talk about events and stuff I would love to see in the game, because we've hit the point now where most people are getting towards having finished the season, and we're sort of left in this state of you can push AFK stages, cool. You can do your bosses in arena, cool. But we don't really know what else is on. And I feel like that is an important thing that I really would love them to address and just communicate better with the player base. So once again, this is going to be a video of me just basically rambling, and just note when you hear anything that I say in this, this is not like this is fact and I am right. This is me giving you guys my feelings, and you guys represent what you think in the comments, and then maybe I change my mind based on insights that you guys give me as well. But I just want to have a discussion because I really do enjoy this game and I want this game to succeed super well, and I feel like the way we do that is by continuously giving as much feedback as we can, and I am continuously giving my own personal feedback, and like I said, every once in a while I want to do one of these videos where I collate your guys' feedback and also pass on as much of that as possible. So let's get into the topics. First of all, open-ended question for you guys. What do you guys think of the A-level character rate-up banners? I'm going to give you guys my thoughts. Once again, this is not fact. This is not truth. I just want to give you guys my thoughts, some ideas that I have around it, and see what you guys think. So the A-level banner. I think having a rate-up for the A-level characters is a fantastic idea because it allows you to expedite the process. As for the balancing of the way this one was delivered, I have a couple things that I think would be a great change, but once again, I'm not saying I'm right. So let's go through it. First of all, I would love to see... my issue with the A-level character banner is it feels like we're taking up an entire 3-week period for just Soren on the banner. Which means if we end up going S-level, A-level, it feels like we're going to be 6 weeks between a character that's even pool considerable for free to play. Even on this account, which is a spending account, which I was going to top up to boost Soren up to Supreme Plus. When I look at the cost of the summons in this stuff, if I go over here to the trolley at just buying them out without buying those pop-up packs, 2,500, that's probably about 70 to 80 US dollars, I think, to get 60 pulls, which is basically 1.5 hits of him. So, I need to get 3 more hits, so I'd be looking at 160 US dollars just to get the guy to Mythic Plus. Because, dude, I'd never beat pities on this thing. This thing is horrible for pities for me. So even on a spending account, it doesn't feel as good going that deep into an A-level character when you know eventually they will be added to the shop and added to the standard banner as characters you will continually pull by having them on a sub-wishlist spot. And, you can just buy them from the Dream Store. So I think the existence of the banner is good for people that want to boost the character and get them up. There is 2 main issues, not issues, but suggestions I would have. Number 1, I would actually like to see Soren, we're going to use Soren and Elsa as this example for what I'm trying to demonstrate. I think with these A-level characters, as soon as they drop into the game, make them available on the wish list and make them available in the Dream Store. I just think the perceived value of an A-level, even though we have a character like Odie, who is the supreme, he is meta at the moment. I still think the perception of A-levels is that they are not as valuable as S-levels because you have so much access to them in the shop. It's kind of like on the wish list, I always value, when I look at S-level characters, I always value the characters like Iron, who's not available in the shop, higher than a character like, for instance, if we just look at Wilders, then, Huan or Granny, because they are in the shop. So Huan, Granny, and Brian, whatever his name is. I view those as less valuable because Floribel and Iron you can't get from the arena store. So the accessibility of characters also adds to their value, in my opinion. And because A-levels are so accessible, by the time their banner finishes and you can get them from the Dream Store and you can put them on your normal wish list, so when you're summoning for other S-level characters, they're just general perceived value, in my opinion, is less. And also, it's A-level versus S-level. It just seems like they're not as good, not as special, if you will. So I think letting those guys be like the subunits and they're like an extra additional thing that you can get would be fantastic. And I think when they release, putting them straight into the all hero recruitment wishlist and into the shop is a great idea, while still having a banner like this for those that really want to rush that character out and build them as quick as possible, because this is quite expensive. Now, that leads me on to a couple more suggestions I have. The fact that, once again, after I've just gone through my whole basing of my sentiment around A levels not being as special, the fact that it still costs you as many pulls to get this guy, well, pretty much as many, it's like fractionally different. But it takes as many pulls to get this guy to Mythic Plus as it does an S level. It just feels like bad value, in my opinion. Once again, because of how easily accessible these guys will be once they go off of their rate up banner and onto the standard wish list. So I would also like to see, once again, them put straight onto the standard banner. And I know this may not be possible, and maybe we don't get as many A-level characters because it's an extra character for them to design. But I feel like also maybe increasing the amount of these that we get, so it doesn't take you as many summons to get these guys built as it does an S-level, because it just feels bad, in my opinion. Once again, that's just my opinion. Let me know if you guys disagree with my take. So I think also increasing the amount of these that we get, maybe up to 12, would be a fair balance to make it just feel a bit more value. The other thought that I had was we could have it so that if we look at the rate up on these banners, you can see that it goes down to 10% for an A-level character. And if we go over here to this one, we can see that it's 22.5% for an A-level character. What if instead of shifting that extra 12.5% into Omni Acorns, and I don't want this to be a force thing, I think it would be a good toggle. So let's pretend this is actually the Elsa banner. What if we had the Elsa banner that then in the prize pool, you could have a toggle to select whether this is what your rates look like, or you then convert some of these Omni Acorns, 12.5%, let's call it, into being a rate up for the A-level character, which is Siren. So we could have a banner that looks something like Elsa as the rate up character, 10% A-level hero, and then 12.5% for the rate up A-level. I think that would also be a perfectly valid way to introduce these characters, whilst also putting them straight onto this wish list and into the shop. But once again, also having the option of one of these banners, maybe at higher value, so that people that want to build them and want to rush them still have that opportunity. You don't want to get into the situation where you're pulling on a rate up S level characters banners just to get that A level character. So obviously these banners, in my opinion, are still a necessity, but I think there's just some thoughts that I have around methods to make the A level characters more exciting and feel more welcoming. And once again, at the moment, we're looking at it and it's basically making it 6 weeks between characters that we get to pull for, because I feel like for me, myself, as free to play, and a lot of players, unless this character is giga OP, especially because they're A-level, a lot of people are going to skip. So it does expand the gap between characters. Now, once again, that depends on how you look at it. If you need more time to save, it's fantastic. If you don't need time to save, well, then you kind of just want something to pull for. But as we've seen with this game already, which holds true in AFK Arena as well, not every character is a power creep. A lot of games do like making every next character the next power creep. However, we've seen in this with Vala, Floribel, Elsa, and now Siren, none of these characters have been like the power creep of the game. So having A levels take in a big chunk of summon time, when you're also getting S levels thrown in that aren't really must pulls, it makes it a long time before people can actually spend their summon currency on something that they're excited about. So that leads me, that pretty much wraps up my A level character discussion. Once again, let me know all your thoughts in the comments. And it moves me on to the banners that we've had so far. And I want to talk about those and why I think we're really due for a hype character after Siren. I feel like we need a hype character that is also very strong. I feel like the game is due for it. I feel like when we look at the initial banners, Vala was a fantastic banner in my opinion, because early on, the value was in the standard banner because there were so many key units that everyone wanted to build. You wanted your Smokies, you wanted your Thorns, you wanted those core units. You also wanted to get some A levels. So I think the standard banner was really good value early on. And for those that wanted a luxury pick that was going to help you dominate in PvP and also be, assistance in other areas, I think Vala was a fantastic first unit. Plus, she is a really cool unit. I love this unit. The fact that she has the changing of forms and stuff like that, I think it is super unique. And I think she was a great launch character. My only issue with Vala was the fact that she was in the game for the entirety of the PTR. and she was already on the standard banner for the PTR. So for those who knew about the PTR and stuff, it was a little bit less hype because it was like, yeah, we already know all this. But moving on, but once again, I think her style of character was a great launch character. Then we moved into Floribel. Floribel was one I also think was a good banner, good character for the time that her banner released, because Floribel was one of those ones where we're still in the early game. A lot of free-to-play players are still trying to build their core rosters. So you're going and you're still spending those diamonds on the standard banner instead of the rate-up banner to get your core roster. So she was a breather one. But for the paid players, she did offer some unique values, some entertainment and stuff like that if you wanted to pull her. But she wasn't a must pull. And I feel like she slotted into that not being a must pull position pretty well for the time that she was dropped. And I think that was pretty comfortable. Then after that, we moved into Elsa, who, once again, I think Elsa was cool because she offered something unique, which was the, putting obstacles on the battlefield and stuff like that. I think that was pretty good. But I do also think Elsa, she was another one of those balanced characters. You could get her to work in bosses and she could provide decent damage. She can be used in AFK stage pushing in certain situations and work well, and she has some viability in PvP. So she was like one of those units, like kind of like Floribel, good but not game breaking, not a must pull. And so that brings us 3 banners into the game where we've had not must pull units. And I feel like by this stage, by the time Elsa came out, or just a little bit after because of all the rewards we got into the season, a lot of people have stopped spending diamonds. Because you get so much extra standard pulls through the season that you could stop spending your diamonds, save up, wait for a hype character, and just use your summons, your standard tickets to start completing your rosters of the base level characters, the beginning characters, to get your account into a good position. I feel like after Elsa, though, is when we got to start thinking about getting a hype unit. And once again, now we've got Soren, who is another unit that we don't, a lot of people are skipping. Let's face it, I don't think he's great value for free to play to go ahead and get. So now that we have Soren in here, I feel like we are due for a really hype banner for the next unit. I feel like we're at the point where you can give us a unit who is maybe a little level of power creep in maybe bossing or in AFK stage or in PvP. Doesn't matter where it's at. I don't want it's a hard thing when you say I'm ready for some power creep. I get that would freak some people out, but I do think having a unit that has has a best in slot value in some aspect of the game would be a fantastic unit to drop in as our next hero, because we've had so much time to save now, and I think people are getting pent up and ready to actually pull on something that they're excited for. And now I know some people were excited for Soren, some people were excited for Elsa, some people were excited for Floribel and Vala. I get that, but I feel like a collectively strong unit that is also well received by the community is what we are ready for, and that's what I would love to see from the next unit. Now, who that is, I don't know. We've seen some cool Mauler characters. I don't think we need another Mauler. Besides that, I don't know who we get. Like, do we get I don't know if Hogan's hype. I'm trying to think of characters in AFK Arena that came in that were really hyped. Like for me, Mishka was one where she a bear chick with 2 wolf pets. I mean, she would kind of fill the role of what Soren's doing because she was like the bear girl. But yeah, I feel like we need to get a unit that people get excited to pull for and have a reason to pull for. That's what I would love to see at the end of this 17 days and 21 hours when the Soren banner goes away, a hype unit. Now, the other thing we have to consider is in AFK Arena, often the hype units are now the Celestial Hypergenes and the Awakened units because we've got more levels of power creep in that game. And that leaves me on to Celestials and Hypergenes. I made a whole video talking about how I am still saving all my guild coins and all of my Stargazers for that guy or whoever the next Celestial Hypergene is to see how strong they are. And if they're not strong, then I'll wait. I think we're also getting pretty close to due for a Celestial Hypergene. Now, I'm not going to go into a whole Celestial Hypergen rant. I will make that rant if we ever get once we ever get a new one in the game and they announce it, because I feel like there's a lot of considerations that they need to take into account when implementing a Celestial Hypergen into the game, because they are hype characters and there's just some things that I feel like they could absolutely butcher with it. So I'll make that video when we finally get that, because I'm not going to waste this whole video for it. But like I said, I do think the banners so far were pretty good. I feel like Elsa started to be like, okay, we're ready for something. And now the Soren banner, it's like, no, we are ready for something to pull. So let me know what you guys think about that. But the next thing I want to talk about is I've gone through my thoughts on the A-level banners. I've gone through my thoughts on the banners so far and needing a bit of a hype unit. The next one I want to talk about is events and communication from the developers. I feel like we need a lot of communication. At the moment, it feels like we finished the season, and what are we doing now? And that's not just me. Like my personal account, I'm still not quite complete the season because I got in there late. But that is what I'm seeing in the comments. I'm getting DMs about it. People what do we do now? And so I think they need to give us a roadmap. I've said this before, but holy crap, like it feels like we're in the dark with this game on what we're supposed to be expecting to come. And I would love to see a roadmap because, you know, we've got this season. They've said that it's a 4-month season where like people were done it in like a week or two. Does that mean we've got 3.5 months of just nothing? Or do we get more updates that expand the map of this season and give us more stuff inside the season? What can we expect? That's what I would really love to know, because I'm sure they have some sort of plan. I don't think they just like leave the game in maintenance mode now. But it's like, what is that? Like, give us a hint, because it's really hard as a player to be like, oh yeah, I'm excited for this, when you don't actually have any idea of what you can expect. And if you are going to get anything in there, and it's that doubt that starts to creep in. So I think having a roadmap and just giving us like a dev post about what is entailed in a season. Like, yes, we get the new map, we get the playthrough, we get the story. What else is the main focus of the season? That's what I would love to see. And that leads me into events. I feel like with the state of the game and where the game is at the moment, once again, with being done the campaign, not having anything else to do, obviously you got your bosses, you got your arenas, and you've got your AFK stages that you can continually push, of course. So we do have stuff to do, but it's like, I always think back to AFK Arena where they have a really good event system, and I would love to see some more interactive events. So obviously this event is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. The rewards in this event are fantastic. This event, for the time you spend in it, for the rewards you get, fantastic. But I would love to see some more interactive events that get you excited to log in on a daily basis to do what the event has. The perfect example I have of this is called the Magician's Hat in AFK Arena. And AFK Arena have a bunch of different events that have really good rewards, really good models, and I feel like they could just yoink that stuff and put it into this game. So the Magician's Hat event is essentially what you do is you go in and you do your daily quests. They add a little currency to each one of these nodes in the daily quests, which then you go into your events tab and you have like a mini gotcha system in there with those currencies that you get from doing your dailies. You can spin them and then you can get maybe some summons, maybe some dust, some experience, some gold, some exclusive equipment materials, stuff like that. So you just do like this little gotcha. But then after you do the little gotcha spin, you also get another currency that is fixed, which then they have a store, which you can then buy exclusive equipment upgrades. You can buy gear. You can also buy Celestial and Hypergene heroes, which in the AFK Arena model, free to play, every one of those events, they don't offer every Celestial Hypergene because there's a lot in them, but they select 4 Celestial Hypergene heroes. And you can pick up a copy of one of those characters if you save all your currency and buy them out from the shop. Those events are really engaging and get you excited to log in every day, do your dailies, do your little gotcha spin thing because it's a little bit of dopamine in there, and then you're saving for a big prize at the end. I would love to see them implement some kind of events like that where they are exciting things to log in daily, because at the end of the day, these are phone games. You don't want to be active, like have to be grinding them non-stop every day, but it's nice to have those little things to look forward to jump in, and also to have a roadmap or an idea of what's coming to the game so you know what you're logging in for every day. So that's the last thing I wanted to talk about. Once again, that is just my personal thoughts. I am happy to change my view if you guys have a good suggestion or something like that in it. But I just wanted to get my thoughts across, open up a discussion so that you guys can leave as much as you want in the comments. Any suggestions you have, once again, I will be reading these comments, upvote anyone's comment that you like, and I will be passing on as much feedback as I can, because once again, I really enjoy this game. I love these style of games, and I really want it to do well. I think the best way for it to do well is for us to have as much conversation as we can and pass on as much feedback as possible, and hopefully we get a really good game that can last for a very long time. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.